going on, Jerome's? So the question is, what should the Vikings do this offseason with Blake Brandel? Mama, I'm too hard to Brandel now. So last year he was inserted as the Vikings starting left guard. Offensive line coach Chris Cooper, decision makers, coaches, they love and acknowledge Blake Brandel, who rose on up from a former 6th-round pick, came into the league as a tackle, eventually became a valuable 4-position backup. And they rewarded Brandel last offseason with a 3-year, $9.5 million contract, won that left guard job, and then... So a large part of it was that Brandel started off the season pretty damn good with Christian Darrisaw to his left, and that's important for context. Also, he did have Bradbury on his right, but it is what it is. But after Darrisaw's injury against the Rams, Cam Robinson came in, and Robinson fought the good fight, but learning a brand new scheme, learning brand new chemistry with the guard, I mean, that's a lot to ask on the fly, and Brandel's performance suffered because of it. And eventually, he ended up surrendering 46 pressures, which is second most in the NFL. 9 sacks 9 times, most in the NFL amongst guards. PFF grade was 55.7, 42nd out of 68 qualifying guards, and then 11 penalties, tied for 4th most in the league. So basically, all of that was just not good. But as we said, I do have to take it with a grain of salt, is that he did perform decent when Darrisaw was there, and poorly when Darrisaw was gone. Also, he was one of the players in the wildcard game against the Rams who definitely just got taken to the woodshed. It is what it is, right? And then fast forward, the Vikings drafting Donovan Jackson. He's for real at left guard in the first round, number 24 overall. And Jackson is seen as the future franchise left guard. Set it and forget it for the next 10 years, and hopefully he's going to be good to go there. So the Vikings offensive line left to right should and could be Darrisaw, Jackson, new center Ryan Kelly, new right guard Will Fries, as well as Brian the Real Deal O'Neill. So the question is, what should the Vikings do with Blake Brandel? Well, it's important to note the Vikings do have him under contract for 2 more seasons, and despite a lackluster performance as a starter, I still think that he does have value as a backup. So why keep him? 4-position backup, a left tackle, left guard, right tackle. Also, a number of years of experience in the system with Kevin O'Connell and O-line coach Chris Cooper. Obviously have the faith of the coaches and Kwesi, given that 3-year commitment last year. Also, the Vikings can leverage him into a pay cut. So he's due a $2.6 million base salary. $1.65 million of that is guaranteed. So I think that the Vikings easily could negotiate him, cutting that down to the 1.65 guaranteed, maybe some incentives in there if he does end up playing a bit. But I think that it's a smart move because so the Vikings have him under contract, and absent Brandel forcing a trade, which I don't see happening, you can take this all the way to 53-man cuts, and it's a spot where could Brandel find work elsewhere? Potentially, but also would he be able to get up to speed with a new system, a new team, new personnel right before the start of the season, and also probably not get above that $1.65 million in free agency, which the Vikings would have offset. But I think what it is that Brandel, he's obviously comfortable here, signed the contract, and last year is what it is. Donovan Jackson being drafted is what it is. So I think that he could resettle back into being a solid backup, and $1.65 million plus some incentives for a decent 4-position veteran backup is certainly not bad at all. So I think that the Vikings could work out a pay cut or cut situation for Brandel right before camp. Plus, stuff happens. As we said, depth is extremely important. But the Vikings, I do think, have the makings of one of the best young offensive lines in the game. And Brandel being a decent backup along with Justin School, the new swing tackle, Juergens and Rouse. Also, I think that Logan Brown can rise on up. I think that the Vikings could be really solid in terms of depth. But it comes down to ego, right? So Brandel, it's really tough to get promoted, be the man, and then be demoted. So it could be a spot where he just wants a fresh start elsewhere. I wouldn't necessarily blame him. He still gets a $1.65 million fully guaranteed, whether it's here or somewhere else. So I don't know. Like it could be a spot where maybe some of the other young guys step up too, whether it's Juergens, Rouse, Huber, Logan Brown, etc. But I guess we'll see. For me, despite last year's performance, I would not mind keeping Brandel around at all. Ideally, less than the 2.6. I think a pay cut could be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But we'll see. It really comes down to Brandel's perception of things. If he feels fine sticking around as a backup on a team that he used to be the starter, and just go from there. But your thoughts are thoughts. Will the Vikings keep around veteran Blake Brandel even though he lost a job to Donovan Jackson? Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts, comment section below. You guys are the best you know what to do. Skol, production value.